Let me ask you a question you've probably never asked yourself. If there was an enemy, a real one, who had studied human beings for thousands of years, who watched empires rise and fall, who observed every human weakness, every pattern, every fear in billions of people across every generation, what would his strategy look like? Not a monster, not a red creature with horns. Forget the cartoons. Think of him the way you'd think of the greatest strategist who ever existed. Patient, invisible, and with one single goal: your slow, quiet destruction. Not dramatic destruction, quiet destruction. The kind you don't even notice happening. Here's the part that should stop you cold. His strategy was written down. His methods, his tactics, even his own words, documented thousands of years ago. And almost nobody actually studies them. I did. And what I found explains things about your daily life, your anxiety, your procrastination, your fear, that heaviness you feel and can't name, better than anything I've ever heard. This isn't a religious lecture. You don't need to believe anything to hear this. Just listen to the strategy itself, and then ask yourself one honest question at the end. Does this match my life or not? Let's begin. Part 1. The origin of the war. The oldest scriptures on Earth tell a version of this story. But the most detailed account, the one that reads almost like an intelligence file, describes a being who was not evil by design. He was devoted, elevated, among the highest ranks. And then one command broke him. He was ordered to honor the first human, and he refused. But listen carefully to why he refused, because this is the key to everything. He said, "I am better than him." That's it. That's the original sin of the universe. Not murder, not theft, comparison, arrogance. I am better. And when he fell, he didn't beg for forgiveness. He made a request. He asked for time until the end of the world. And he made a declaration of war. He said, and this is documented in the Quran, chapter 7, "I will sit and wait for them on your straight path. Then I will come at them from before them, and from behind them, and from their right, and from their left." From before them, meaning your future, your anxiety about what's coming, your fear of failing, of being poor, of being alone. From behind them, your past, your regrets, your shame, the memories that replay at 2 in the morning. From the right, your good deeds. He corrupts them. He makes you do good things for the wrong reasons, for show, for ego, until they're hollow. From the left, open temptation. The obvious stuff. 4 directions. Notice what's missing. He never said from above them. He cannot cut the connection between you and what's above you. He can only make you forget it exists. Now, here is where it gets practical. Because a declaration of war is one thing, but what are the actual weapons? There are 4 main ones, and once you see them, you will recognize them in your own head. I promise you that. Weapon number 1, the whisper. The ancient Arabic word for it is waswas. It literally means a repeated, faint whispering. Not a shout, a suggestion. And here's the genius of it. The whisper is designed to sound like your own voice. He doesn't say, "Hey, it's me, your enemy. Don't wake up early." No. The thought arrives as, "I'm too tired. I'll start Monday. One more video. It doesn't matter anyway." First person. Your voice, your accent. That's the entire trick. You defend the thought because you think it's yours. Modern psychology has a name for something very similar: intrusive thoughts, automatic negative thoughts. Scientists know they arrive uninvited, they know they're repetitive, they know they feel like you, but they can't fully explain where they come from. The ancient answer was given 3,000 years earlier. Some of those thoughts are not yours. They're injected. And the final chapter of the Quran, the very last words of the entire book, is a protection against exactly this. It describes the whisperer who withdraws, meaning he whispers, and the moment you become aware and seek protection, he retreats. He works in the shadows of your mind. Awareness itself is a weapon against him. Remember that. Weapon number 2, fear. And this one runs your economy, your decisions, and probably your last 6 months. There's a verse, chapter 2, verse 268, that says, Satan promises you poverty and orders you to immorality. Read that again. He promises you poverty, meaning he makes you constantly afraid of not having enough, afraid of the future, afraid to be generous, afraid to take the leap, afraid to leave the job that's killing you, afraid, afraid, afraid. Scarcity is his native language. And another verse, chapter 3, verse 175, says something even sharper. It is only Satan who frightens you of his allies, so do not fear them. Fear me, if you are believers. It is only Satan who frightens you. Fear of people, fear of judgment, fear of what will they say, fear of starting the channel, the business, the change because of imaginary audiences in your head laughing at you. That entire theater of fear, it has one producer. Now think about the modern world. What sells? Fear. What keeps you scrolling news? Fear. What do algorithms amplify? Outrage and fear. Because fear holds attention 70% longer than hope. The economy of the modern internet runs on the exact fuel that was identified as his signature weapon thousands of years ago. That's not a coincidence. That's a fingerprint. Weapon number 3. And this one is my favorite because it's so elegant, it's almost beautiful. The small steps. The Quran uses a very specific phrase, repeated in multiple places. Do not follow the footsteps of Satan. Footsteps. Khutuwat. Not the leap of Satan, not the highway of Satan. Footsteps. Because no one wakes up and decides to ruin their life. It happens in steps so small that each one is deniable. One video becomes 3 hours. One lie becomes a personality. One skipped day becomes a lost year. One, it's not a big deal, becomes a person you don't recognize in the mirror. He never asks for everything. He asks for 1% today, then 1% tomorrow. He is the most patient investor in existence, and his portfolio is your habits. Modern behavioral science calls this the compound effect, habit loops, the slippery slope. They mapped the mechanism in laboratories in the last 50 years. The warning label was written millennia ago. Watch the footsteps. Not the destination, the footsteps. And here's the dark genius of it. Because each step is small, you never feel a moment of decision. You never feel like you chose this life. You just arrived here. Ask anyone drowning in an addiction, in debt, in a wasted decade. Nobody remembers signing the contract. Because there was no contract. There were footsteps. Weapon number 4, the kill shot, despair. Everything else, the whispers, the fear, the small steps, those are just preparation. The real target, the end game, is one specific belief. And the belief is this: it's too late for me. I'm too far gone. People like me don't change. Despair is the only weapon he actually needs, because despair is self-operating. A person in despair destroys himself. No whispering required. And here's the thing that broke me when I understood it. Despair was his sin. When he fell, he didn't repent because he despaired of mercy. He decided he was beyond forgiveness, so he chose war instead. And now his deepest strategy is to infect you with the exact disease that destroyed him. He wants you to make his mistake. Misery recruiting company. Which is why one of the most powerful verses in the entire Quran, chapter 39, verse 53, says, Say, O my servants who have transgressed against themselves, do not despair of the mercy of God. Do not despair. That's not soft comfort. That's a military counterorder against the enemy's primary weapon. Hopelessness is not humility. Hopelessness is enemy propaganda. Depression is real, and it's complex. Biology, circumstances, trauma, all of it is real and deserves real help. But there is a component of the darkness, that voice that says you specifically are worthless and you specifically cannot be saved. That voice has an author, and it's not you. Now, part 2. And this is the part almost nobody knows. His confession. The Quran does something extraordinary. It records a speech that Satan will give at the end of everything, after the game is over, addressing all the people who followed him. It's in chapter 14, verse 22. And it might be the most honest speech ever recorded. Listen to what he says. Indeed, God promised you the promise of truth, and I promised you but I betrayed you. And I had no authority over you, except that I called you and you responded to me. So do not blame me. Blame yourselves. I cannot help you, and you cannot help me. Sit with that. I had no authority over you. I only called, and you answered. No possession, no mind control, no force. His entire empire, his whole operation across all of human history, built on nothing but invitations, suggestions, whispers, and our acceptance. Which means, and this is the revelation that changes everything, he is weak. The Quran says it directly, chapter 4, verse 76. Indeed, the plot of Satan is ever weak. Weak. The whole terrifying strategy collapses the moment you stop responding. He's not a lion. He's a salesman. A brilliant, ancient, relentless salesman, but a salesman. And a salesman with no customers has nothing. So why does he win so often? Because he has 3 advantages, and you should know them. 1, he sees you and you don't see him. Documented, chapter 7. He sees you, he and his tribe, from where you do not see them. He studied your specific patterns. He knows your specific weakness. He's not using the same trick on you that he uses on your neighbor. 2, he never gets tired. You sleep. He doesn't. You have good days and bad days. He has one mode, relentless. 3, and this is the biggest one, you don't believe he exists. Or you believe it vaguely, like background noise, without ever studying the playbook. The greatest advantage any strategist can have is an opponent who doesn't believe the game is real. So what do you do with all of this? 3 things. Simple. Not easy, simple. First, audit your thoughts. Not all of them are yours. When a thought arrives, especially one pushing fear, despair, delay, or you're better than them, or you're worse than everyone, pause and ask one question. Who benefits from me believing this? That single question is a blade. The whisper works in darkness. The question is light. Second, watch footsteps, not destinations. Stop judging your choices by where they seem to lead in one day. Ask instead, if I repeat this small thing for 5 years, who do I become? He plays the long game against you. Play it back. Third, kill despair on sight. Whatever you've done, however far you think you've fallen, the belief that it's too late for you is not a fact. It's the enemy's oldest lie, the same one he told himself. Every single morning you wake up, the door is open. That's not motivation talk. That's the actual, stated structure of reality according to the oldest wisdom we have. I'll leave you with this. You've been in a war your whole life. You just never got the briefing. Every wave of unexplained fear, every voice that said, "Why bother?" Every small step you took without deciding to, those weren't random. There is a strategy, it is documented, and now you've read the file. He was asked for time until the end of the world, and he got it. But here's what he was never given: authority over anyone, ever. He can call. You don't have to answer. Now you know. And an enemy who depends entirely on your ignorance just lost his biggest weapon.